Hey, for everybody that can hear me, I've been on for a second. I don't even know who's on now. It looks like Jinhan might still be on, or he might not be on. That might be an old post. But I've been having trouble with my Streamlabs. I downloaded the latest version of Streamlabs, and for whatever reason, I can't see my comments on it, which is very, very upsetting, I have to tell you. I have to fool around with it when we get done. Hey, Captain, can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. You know what? I want to see something. Yeah. Nope. No, there is one tonight, Adric. Sorry, you guys. What happened was I was fooling around with Streamlabs. I downloaded the latest version of Streamlabs, which allows us to like switch windows and show all this other kind of tricky stuff. But the freaking Streamlabs is not showing me my comments, so I can't see my comments on Streamlabs. So when that's the case, it's so frustrating. And I guess this newer version, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's a box I had to check or something like that. But anyway, it's not showing me my comments. So I had to pull it up normally on YouTube, but the downside of doing it on YouTube like this is you can't do like all the switching and all that kind of stuff, because one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to compare, I wanted to look at the Wonder Woman trailer and the Black Widow trailer and see what you guys thought about which you think would be the better movie, but we can't do that now because, what is this? Capture, no, I don't want to do that. We can't do that now because the Streamlabs for whatever reason is not working. So that's the problem with that. But it's good you guys can hear me. Actually, I'm going to try something. Let's see if this transition will work from Streamlabs. Let's see. Nope. Oh yeah, look at that, it does work. Alright. Let's go back to full. Sorry, you guys, I was just testing it out. It's giving me grief. Oh boy, that was frustrating. I gotta figure out what's going on with this. We'll test it out afterwards. Then the long transition back. Troubles with OBS Streamlabs or Streamlabs OBS driving me nuts. So if you see the screen that says thanks for hanging out, it shouldn't be there. We should be on the next screen right now. We should be back to me. Maybe it'll transition. Boy, this is really frustrating. Really frustrating. And look how long it's taking to see. All right. All right, you guys. Well, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Wonder Woman trailer looks great. Overall problem is it basically confirms all the previous leaks, which in test screening people are saying. Yeah, you know what, Jinhan, I hope that's not the case because I think the trailer looks actually great to me. But I hope it's not crap because Wonder Woman, I will tell you, has been, in my opinion, DC's saving grace. I really liked Aquaman, and I didn't think some of the other DC movies were terrible, but Wonder Woman, I liked it. I liked the first Wonder Woman, so I'm hoping the second Wonder Woman is really, really good. What did you guys think of the Black Widow trailer? See, now I'm frustrated because I wish I could show it, but Streamlabs is acting up. But anyway. I don't know, Captain. Some of those wrestlers, you know, when they transition to Hollywood, they do a pretty decent job. I'm thinking about The Rock in particular. Does a pretty decent job. And Batista's not bad in some of the stuff he's done, so. Did anybody see the latest episode of C? Because that was, man, that was something else. Anybody happen to see that? That last episode of C? Yeah, I mean, the Black Widow trailer I thought was pretty good too. It wasn't as action packed, and I think if you were comparing the two trailers, Captain, if you were comparing Wonder Woman to the Black Widow trailer, I would say Wonder Woman's probably a better trailer because of what they just showed in the trailer. But if a lot of the footage is leaked and it's true what they're saying, then I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe the Wonder Woman movie won't be as good as what we think, but I'm hoping it will be. Yeah, I just saw both of them, and what I wanted to do, like I said, you guys, I wanted to look at them together with us together here, but again, I can't. Something's going on with the Streamlabs. I'll fool around with it when we get off. No, Dory, I didn't see that fight, and I'm a big UFC fan. I'm a big UFC fan. Not a huge fan of Overeem, so I got to check that out. I definitely have to check that out. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to react to it, Captain, like I wanted to. It's just been so crazy with this holiday season and doing a whole bunch of stuff with the family, so I didn't get a chance to react to it like I wanted to. Hey, what's going on, Chandler? Now, I wasn't super impressed with it either, James. I mean, it didn't have as much action as I wanted it to have, but I definitely think you're right. I think that Marvel should get the benefit of the doubt. Plus, I would not be surprised if Black Widow introduces some things, even though it's a retro movie for her, if it introduces some things that'll be important to the MCU going forward. I would not be surprised about that at all. Hey, Sigby. Yeah, I wasn't super hyped about it at all. Like I said though, the Wonder Woman trailer was much more dynamic. And hopefully if it's not true what Jen Han said about people saying that with the leaks it's not a very good movie, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully that's not true because I liked Wonder Woman 1. I liked Wonder Woman 1, you guys have heard me say this before, better than I did Spider-Man Homecoming. Actually much better than I did Spider-Man Homecoming. So I'm really hopeful for Wonder Woman 2. I kind of need for it to be good because I liked 1 so much. Oh, you know what? I never followed up with my question. Sorry about that, you guys. I asked it, and somebody said they did see it. Did anybody see the latest episode of C on Apple Plus TV. We were talking about it a little bit last week, and I'm telling you, man, I have C at this point as one of my top 5 shows on TV. Anybody see that last episode of C, which is some crazy things happen? All right, you guys, and I can't tell if I have a delay here too. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll ever see that solo movie from Hawkeye, Captain. I don't even what someone else mentioned the V Wars, Jinhan. I don't know what is that on? What platform is that on? Oh man, Kenneth, if you never heard of C is on Apple Plus TV, and man, oh man, I won't get into it because it looks like maybe some of you guys haven't seen it, and I think Jinhan said he hasn't seen it yet, so I won't ruin it. But what I will tell you is that it's worth every bit of your money, because that show is really good. As I said, I have it in my top 5, and the whole concept behind C is really interesting. And I wasn't really sure, like, C could have gone either way depending on how they took the story, but the way they're taking the story, the direction that they're taking the story in C at this point, man, oh man, is it good. And I mean really, really good. It kind of, not quite, but it kind of has a little bit of an ITB feel and Into the Badlands feel, and some folks have said that before. But I'm telling you, the way that they do the story, and in this last episode of C, and the one that they just had, some things happening there, and you're like, oh, no way. It's crazy, man. It's a really, really good show. It's on Apple Plus TV. Yeah, you know what, Chandler, you can get it on your PC. I mean, that's where I watch it, and it's like $4 a month, $5 a month. I mean everybody's budget is different, but it seems pretty reasonable to me. And they've actually got some other shows on there that are pretty good. I think that platform will do pretty good. I don't think it's going to stand up to a Disney or a Netflix, but I think it's going to do pretty good. I don't think that's going to happen, Dory. That would be funny. Maybe that'll be a what if with Captain America and the Black Widow. Also, did you guys, anybody see the last week's episode of The Watchmen? That was pretty good too. Wasn't as action packed as I'd like, but man, some twist in that. I was like, wow. I wonder where they're going with this. Because I think we have one. Oh, tonight, I don't think tonight's the finale. I think we have one more episode of Watchmen. And from what I understand, they're not renewing it. So I don't think it's going to be renewed yet for season 2. Or I haven't heard anything, unless you guys have heard something. I haven't heard anything. Also, I think we got the first episode of Crisis on Infinite Earth. I think is coming out tonight. It might even be out. I know it airs tonight. So I'll definitely be checking that out because I want to see how that whole thing rolls out. I don't even know what V Wars is about. You said it's on Netflix? Where's my pen? Write that down. Oh, I wrote it down last week. It's right here. But is it on Netflix? V Wars? I wrote that down from last week, and I think I wrote Waves down from last week too. I didn't see that, Captain, but I am a fan of DC animations. As a matter of fact, I think their animations are better than Marvel's animations. A lot better, actually. All right. I heard the Marriage Story was really good, Dory. A lot of people were talking about that. That's what Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, I believe. I heard it was really good. I haven't got a chance to see it. I just got around to seeing Mr. Rogers, actually, because everybody was talking about it. And it was a pretty good movie. Not really my type of movie, but it was a pretty good movie. I have to agree with most people. And I just saw that this past weekend. And we are about a week away from The Witcher. 2 weeks, I guess. Yeah, about 2 weeks away from The Witcher. I think it launches on the 20th, I want to say, of this month. I'm pretty sure that's when it is. So, that said, if you are planning on watching The Witcher and you need a little bit of backstory, because I've said before that the game is not enough, then, again, hop over to Audible or wherever else and get The Last Wish. And that should be enough to get you good to go for The Witcher. No, I haven't finished Gen Han, not yet. Because I typically don't get a chance to listen to The Witcher unless I'm in my car. So I haven't finished it, not quite yet. You're in front of me now, actually. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I do think Gen Honda's Witcher books, they diminish a little bit after you get past the first couple, but I still think they're good because I really like the character development in The Witcher. So I'm hoping we get that translation in the TV show as well. We'll see. Yeah, I thought that the Mister Rogers movie was pretty good. Like I said, it's not really the type of movie that I would normally see, but I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. So I think what people were saying about it is true. I think it has a really good vibe. So just depends on if that's your thing or not. But I don't know, Captain. I don't know. I have to look at that animation. I haven't seen a Disney animation in a while. I have been watching the X-Men on Disney Plus though. I mean a DC animation. All right. Oh, before I forget, you guys, um I was supposed to record the interview with Jason Tobin yesterday. It would have been yesterday. What's today? No, today's Sunday. It would have been Friday my time, Saturday morning his time. But we got wires crossed a little bit, and he got back a little late. He was out with his daughter, so we moved it to next weekend. That's when we'll do that recording with Jason Tobin for Warrior. And I did pass on the questions that you guys ask in the video or the questions that you ask in the comment section of the YouTube channel. So yeah, it is. What's going on, Cornbread? Man, it is, man. I mean, I remember that from when I was younger. So, and incidentally, we can talk about this later in another stream. The movie coming out next year that's going to be most important for Marvel, in my opinion, is the Eternals. because of what the Eternals will do for the Marvel Universe. I think it's going to be super important. I feel like it's a little bit low-key at this point, and people aren't really talking about it because people don't really know that much about the Eternals. But if they do the Eternals right, number one, it's going to open up the MCU even more. And we talked about beings too powerful for the MCU, but the Eternals will open it up even more so that you might have beings in the MCU that are powerful. But what the Eternals will also do, and I'm trying to be a little bit vague here because I don't want to spoil it, if they do it right, it will explain a lot of things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Plus, it would set the stage to bring in folks like the X-Men and some other folks that we haven't seen before. But it will explain a lot of the makeup of the heroes in the MCU. So the Eternals are going to... That's going to be a really, really important movie. And if Feige is doing that for the reasons I think he might be, that actually probably is going to be the biggest linchpin that will connect this first kind of half of the MCU to the second, phases to come. So, hey, what's going on, Cobra? Your father has arrived. That's right. Man, Cobra, I'm not even going to, you know me, I've never let it be said that if you're on YouTube, you're a technical expert, because I'm not. I had so many troubles with this stupid OBS streaming. I'm still having troubles with it. So I'll probably fool around with it a little bit when we get off. So, I mean, if you guys are around, you can see me playing around with it. But I downloaded the newest version, and then I couldn't, there was like a ton of stuff I couldn't do. So anyway. I gotta check it out, Cobra. I gotta check it out. I gotta check out Crisis on Infinite Earth. I wonder how that was gonna be. I'm gonna check that out. Of course, I'll check out the next episode of Watchmen. Also, Cobra, I'm interested to know what you thought about last week's episode of Watchmen, because I know you said it was kind of it was waning a little bit for you. So I wanted to know what you thought about that. You know what, Cornbread? So I think that the WandaVision and Doctor Strange will introduce the mutants, but I'm telling you what the Eternals will do will be even greater than that, because essentially the story of the Eternals gives an account, if they tell it right, it gives an account for a lot of things in the Marvel Universe. Like, it gives an account for mutants. It gives an account for a lot of different things in the Marvel Universe. It's almost like a foundational story, which I feel like if you understand what happened in the stories of the Eternals, even if you're not a big comic book fan, you will appreciate Marvel movies more after that, because you will have a deeper understanding of like how all of these different things in the Marvel Universe came to be. If they do it right. They started to do a little bit of it in Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Eternals will turn that up to another level, especially if they introduce the Celestials and how they impacted all of humanity and mutants and all that. It should be really, really good. So we'll see. Yeah. You know why that is? It's funny you say that, Cobra, because this is not the DSLR camera that I'm using. It's actually the 20. No, that's actually, this thing was like $200, but it's Logitech's 4K camera. It's essentially my webcam. I'm not using a DSLR because I'm actually cleaning. I was cleaning the lens. I didn't get a chance to finish, so I just turned on the webcam. It is brighter. It's pretty sharp too. So. Call me Black Jesus. Oh boy, crazy. I'm not sure what I think about that actually, Dory. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy to me, really, all that's going on with movies and streaming, and how in my opinion, and I don't know if you guys are noticing this, I'm sure you are, but like everything is starting to meld into one. Like now you notice how you see A-list actors creating films on Netflix and streaming platforms. Now you start to see a lot of continuity of what people are trying to do, especially Disney Plus with their streaming content, and also what's going on in the theaters. And what I suspect is that a lot of this will kind of just meld into one big machine, so to speak. And I think Disney probably is going to kick it off with a whole bunch of their Disney Plus stuff being linked to the movies. And I think if they do that, and they do that successfully, you're going to see a lot of other companies follow suit, because Disney basically, they own like all of the power hitting or the heavy hitting properties. I think it's all going to meld into one. And whereas you normally would not see bigger stars doing stuff on streaming platforms, you're going to see more and more of that. Like I was surprised, I was shocked honestly to see Scorsese put out The Irishman streaming on Netflix. I know it had a limited release in theaters, but the bulk of that show is going to be seen on Netflix. I was surprised that he would do something like that, but I think we're going to see more and more of that. So it'll be interesting, Cornbread, to see how they do that. And that's a question that I had too. What Marvel was going to do with the Inhumans, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the Inhumans. But I will say that I think that what the Eternals will do for like properties like the X-Men, I think will be important. I hope, anyway. I don't know how they'll do the movie, but I hope. Man, look, Kamikaze, don't ruin things, man. I want to see it. Don't ruin things about Crisis on Infinite Earth. Don't be telling stuff that happened. I stopped talking about C for that reason. Because I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But I will tell you, the latest episode of C is crazy good. Woo! Man, oh man, is it good. Man, is it good. You know what, Cornbread? I have not seen the morning show, and it doesn't look like something that I would necessarily see. Is it? I mean, is it good? Are you recommending it? Hey, what's going on, Garth? Sorry again if you were here earlier. Technical difficulties. You know me. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how many times we've had technical difficulties on the channel. So, Cornbread, I haven't watched the morning show. I wouldn't have watched it. I mean, are you telling me that I should be watching it? I've seen it, but I haven't watched it. Only thing I've watched on Apple TV is I've seen C. I've watched a little bit of the I can't remember the name of the show that Shyamalan is directing. Then there's another one that I wanted to watch too with Octavia Spencer on it. I can't remember the name of it though. Oh man. So Dory said C versus the Mandalorian. Oh man. I don't know. Well, what do you guys think about that? Which show would you say is better? I will say that some have classified the Mandalorian, or some have, I don't know if they've done research. I don't know how they came up with this, but some have said that the Mandalorian is the #1 TV show in the world, which I actually can see because the Mandalorian is fantastic. I don't know if I like C better than the Mandalorian. They're different type of shows. I love the Mandalorian, by the way. I love the Mandalorian, but there's something really, really special about C. I don't know. It just has this tone, or maybe it's the whole idea or the concept behind C that I really like. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Mandalorian versus C. I don't know. Yeah, you got to give it another shot, Cobra. I don't know how many episodes you've seen. You got to give it to, I would say after that second episode, it really does begin to pick up. Because there's a lot going on in C. And when you think about just the concept or the idea behind it, and then how they roll that story out, especially when you get to this last episode, some stuff happens in this last episode that you're gonna be like, oh man, it's crazy. Some stuff happens in this episode that's crazy. We talked a little bit about the Wonder Woman trailer, not a whole bunch, Cobra, though. We were comparing that to the Black Widow trailer. Is that when they're rolling out the second episode of C 2021? A whole year, Adric? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, man, look, I don't know. They better do something because C is really good, but I don't know if it has the momentum to be off a whole year. We'll see. I guess that will depend how they roll it back out in 2021, but that's unfortunate. Baby Yoda for president. I love it. Yeah, man, it's really good. The last episode of The Mandalorian was really good too. Even though people thought it was a filler episode, I don't think any episode of The Mandalorian is a filler episode. I feel like Favreau Favreau's smarter than that, and I feel like all these episodes are going to connect. Even the one from last week, people said that one was a filler, but I don't think it was either. I think they all will connect. So, Adric, you like C better than The Mandalorian? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's hard to put your finger on. I mean, you can talk about the things that you really like about C, but there's something about the way that C is done, and it might be the aspect that virtually everybody's blind. I can tell you, I can give that to you without giving everything away. But how they deal with that and build off of that story is really, really good. And then the fact that it is set in a dystopian future, and just all the ideas and stuff to swirl around and see, and then also the combat situation in C is really good. Like, I was shocked. I was shocked that it was as good as it is. It's good. It's a good story too. So Garth, oh wow. So Garth, you haven't seen C or The Mandalorian. Well, I can tell you that I think they both come out to about $10 a month if you subscribed. Mine was like a little bit less for Disney Plus because I got like the legacy thing, I guess, because I signed up for it early. But I think that both of those, both Disney Plus and Apple Plus, I think have at least a 7-day trial, which really you could get through all of the episodes so far of The Mandalorian and C, even though they come out week by week. It's not a binge thing, so you won't be able to get through the whole season. But yeah, man, it's really good. I want to see what they do with that, Garth. I want to see if they will actually put The Mandalorian out on DVD and Blu-ray. For some reason, I feel like they're going to hold up on that. I just do. I'm not really sure why. I mean, already with The Mandalorian, they're doing a lot of things that really kind of quote-unquote aren't by the book. It's not a binging show. It's a short show, on average 35, 37 minutes long, which I think is super smart. I think that Disney is doing stuff like that on purpose because it goes against the normal flow of things, and people complained about it at first. But now you don't really hear that many complaints about it. Plus, I think it also illustrates the fact that you don't have to have an hour-long show to tell a good story. If you keep the story tight and you keep it focused, you can have a shorter story and it'd be really good. I think The Mandalorian is an example of that. Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, that scene in C Jinhan was amazing with the slave traders. I mean, that whole style of combat that Baba Voss does in C, especially given the fact that he's blind, is tremendous, man. Like, you have to appreciate the fight choreography there, and you have to appreciate the fact that it looks like, anyway, that Momoa is doing most of that himself because of the way that the camera is on him. Like, you gotta appreciate that. I mean, C is fantastic. It is a really, really good show. It is a really, really good show. Oh, wow. You must be reading some articles that I haven't come across. So that's exciting, Adric. Now, that might be enough to keep people coming back. Adric said that we'll get to meet Baba Voss's brother in season 2. It's just such a long layoff, man. That's a year is a long time. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if whether Apple is planning on bringing some new shows out in the meantime, and they want to focus on that. But they better not mess C up. That's all I know. We better not get any daggone email or whatever like they did with us at ITB, where everybody was waiting. Then all of a sudden they were like, surprise! This is the last season. They better not do that to us. Jack Reacher season 3. I have not watched all of Jack Reacher, period, Cornbread. And some folks have said that I need to check that out. I just haven't. Oh, I don't know about that, Dory. Is John Favreau on the same level as Scorsese and Nolan and Hitchcock? I wouldn't say that, but I would say he's a heck of a director. I would have to see him direct some things that were different than, and I don't really know what his body of work is as a director, but I have to see him do some stuff that is different than what he's done before. Um, some dramas and things like that. But I definitely think he has a flair for action adventure, and he does it very, very well. So Cornbread is saying Apple has like 40 different shows in development. So they might be making room for their newer content. And I wonder if Apple put out C as kind of a test run to see how well it would do. Because fans really like C. If you look at what some of the critics are saying, they don't like it as much. But who cares, man? It's the fans that bring in the money. And fans really like C. I think this C is a bit of a surprise for Apple. I think this C. I'm looking at the wrong camera. It's funny, like my DSLR camera is like right there, and the other camera is right here. And I keep looking at the DSLR because that's what I'm used to using. It does seem like to me, Jinhan, that Netflix is pumping out new stuff. But here's the thing: some of Netflix's new shows are some of them are not American shows, and you can tell just by virtue of the fact that when you're watching them, you can see the voiceover or the dubs in it. You know what? That thing's driving me crazy. Where's my lens to that? I got to put a lens on a DSLR because I keep looking at it and it's jacking me up. Get on there. There we go. All right. But I think Netflix is pulling in a lot of foreign programming as well, and I don't know. I don't know. I think they're doing that, and I don't know if they're doing that because maybe that gives them a broader appeal internationally, and maybe they're not bringing back some of the stuff that we'd hope that they would. But I don't know. Oh, so wait a minute, wait, Jinhan. So the Dark Crystal is not renewed? Because I heard that the Dark Crystal was renewed. I also heard that Raising Dion was renewed, which I didn't really think was that good, but I do think it had potential. Well, so here's the thing, Adric. I'm not gonna say anything about Jerry Morrell because I think that Jen Han has not seen this latest episode, so I don't want to ruin it for him. But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. That's all I'll say. I think Jen Han is checking that episode out later tonight, so be careful not to ruin anything about C in the comments. But some things happen in this episode that are like, wow. That's a good question, Kamikaze. But I will tell you, with the second Venom movie, I hope it was better than Venom 1 because I was not a big fan of Venom 1. I know a lot of people loved it, but I didn't think the CGI was particularly that great in Venom 1. And I thought the performances were just okay in Venom 1. I didn't think the writing was that good in Venom 1 either. So I wasn't a big fan of it. So I don't know. Whoever's in it, I hope they do a better job with it than they did Venom the first Venom. Man, I will tell you what, Garth. I had no freaking idea what was going on in Legion. And I tried to get into it several times, and I was just like, what the heck is happening here? I I really had no idea what was going on. It was just a little too disjointed for me. I couldn't get into it. I know a lot of people liked it, but it was not that was not something that I really could get into. You know what? It's interesting you say that, Cobra, about Netflix's plan to renew shows up to 3 seasons because I think Stranger Things is going to lose some of its steam. I think it's losing its steam now, even though technically before this whole report came out about The Mandalorian being the number one show in the world, I think Stranger Things was the number one show in the world at that point. But I think they got to switch the story up for Stranger Things, or I think that's going to start to fade. I mean, how often are you going to tell the story about some kind of monster popping up from the oh, now I can't remember the name of the opposite world. I think they got to do something to mix that story up. That's just my opinion. Oh wow. Oh wow. You know what? If they do that Jin Han with the Dark Crystal, if they don't bring out another kind of cinematic piece and they just tie it into the comic book, it's going to lose some steam. I think part of what people really liked about the Dark Crystal, the latest iteration on Netflix, was the fact that they got to see the live action version of it. It's not going to have as much weight, in my opinion, with the comic books. But I mean, we'll see. I can see that, Cobra. I can see that. Captain Marvel and Venom kind of selling themselves. Some people like Venom, though. Some people said some good things about it. I didn't. I wasn't a big fan. And then if the next season of Stranger Things is going to be the last season, then that's good because it's run its course. I don't think it could survive after that. I really don't. But maybe Netflix is making room for some other stuff. You know what movie I think is going to be good? I think it's going to be hilarious just because The Rock and Kevin Hart are in it together. And that is Jumanji. What is it? Is that Jumanji 3 we're talking about now? I think so. I'm actually looking forward to that. Because I feel like it's going to be a movie where I just get to laugh. And with those two in it, it's always hilarious. So I'm looking forward to that. I would agree with that too. You know what I think, Cobra? I think you're right. I think the hype for the Dark Crystal wasn't there unless you kind of knew where to find the information about it. But it wasn't hype like like some of the other stuff was. And I do think the Dark Crystal kind of has a very core fan base. Its appeal is not as broad as some of the other bigger titles. So I would agree that the hype for the Dark Crystal, you're probably right, probably just wasn't there. So Cornbread, you liked Captain Marvel. My problem with Captain Marvel was that for the way that Feige talked her up, she did not present that way in the movie, not at all. She was much better when we got to Infinity War, but in her own standalone movie, man, I wasn't impressed by a whole bunch of stuff with that movie. Not, I mean, not at all. It was a whole bunch of stuff that I was just like, eh. Yeah, I can see that, Jinhan. I can see that with The Witcher. I mean, as I said, I think The Witcher has so much going on in it. You could do a lot of original content with it, a lot of spin-off content where you could focus on a lot of characters, or you could stay within the context of the original source material and do really well. So, The Witcher just has huge potential. It could be. It could be that the writers are injecting their own stuff. Speaking of The Boys, I wonder when season 2 is coming out. Anybody heard anything about that? I mean, I'm sure we're going to get it in 2020. I hope we're going to get it in 2020. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out, Dory. Um, just because people have been talking about it. But I mean, one thing I would say about Michael Bay, and I know you've heard this before, but I I just feel like his aspect of movie making has not grown at all. At all. Everything is essentially a Transformers movie in terms of like execution and action and the way that it's shot. So I don't know. I mean I'm definitely gonna see it, but we'll see. I don't have really high expectations for it. We'll see. Ah boy, you crazy. Cornbread. Yeah, oh man. I don't know, but you know what? It's funny, Cornbread. You bring up. I mean, Cobra is the one who says something crazy. I don't know why. He always is the one who says something crazy. But I don't know, Cornbread. I wanted a lot more from that movie than what I got. A lot more. I was really disappointed from it. Although there were some aspects of it I will say that were good, but yeah, I was disappointed. All right, let me see. Is anybody watching Servant on Apple Plus? Anybody checking that out? I think that's Shyamalan's latest work. Seen a few episodes of it. I haven't been able to finish it up or finish up the number of episodes they've rolled out so far. Yeah, the Dark Phoenix was horrible to me. It was really bad. I mean, the Dark Phoenix that reminded me of, I don't know, some of the other X Men movies in the past that I just was not a big fan of. The Dark Phoenix reminds me a little bit of X Men First Class. I hated X Men First Class too. I know a lot of people liked it, but wasn't a fan of that. That the latest episode. I mean, a Servant is okay. It's kind of got like a little bit of a Sixth Sense feel to it, but apparently people are the execs are raving about it because it's already been renewed for a season 2, and I mean, it literally just hit Apple Plus like a couple of weeks ago, and they're already giving it a season 2, and it's getting pretty good ratings as well. But it's I don't know, it's a little strange. I thought the Bond trailer was just okay to me. People loved it though. People were raving about it. I don't know. I don't know what I think about this latest Bond movie. I feel like the Bond movies have either kind of run their course with Daniel. That's not to say that he's a good actor, or they need to do some kind of reboot now, and a hard reboot for the Bond series, and that might mean again switching the Bond lead to someone else. I know for a while there were a couple of different people they had in mind, but wasn't super excited about that trailer. So Cornbread, you liked it. You think it's gonna be pretty good? Oh, we'll see. I like Christoph Waltz though, so. Oh, did anybody see Knives Out? Speaking of the Bond trailer. So Cobra asks, what's everybody's thoughts on the Boys 2 trailer and the Mulan trailer? I like the Boys 2 trailer. I'm really interested to see what happens and how they execute that story next season cinematically. The Mulan trailer, it's okay. It's alright. I'm not super excited about it. We'll see. Yeah, well, you shouldn't be surprised, Jinhan, because we seem to be getting that in a lot of our TV today. A lot of our TV, a lot of our movies, mailbag. I mean, just like agendas all over the place, and it's so blatant. It's really unfortunate. I'm not a big fan of Remy Malik. I know a lot of people like him for Mr. Robot and some of the other stuff that he's done. I think didn't he play Eddie? Um, I mean Freddie Mercury too. I think that was him. I'm not a big fan of him as an actor though. So you guys think the next 007 movie is gonna tank, huh? I was disappointed in the last episode of Titans too, Adric. I really was. Titans is interesting because I think on the whole it's a good show, but I feel like sometimes the episodes are hit or miss. Sometimes they're really good, and other times you're like, why did they do that? It just So here's something about Shazam, and if you saw the review I did for Shazam, you would know this. I was not a huge fan of Shazam either, and I know a lot of people were. I know a lot of people really loved Shazam, and they're super excited about Black Adam, and I don't know. I didn't think Shazam was that good. It was a little too. I don't know. I don't know. Just wasn't a huge fan of Shazam. They should let Kevin Hart be being Black Adam. Anytime they can put The Rock and Kevin Hart together, they should do it because it's always hilarious. I didn't even see that show, Cobra, with Remy. With Remy, I really only know him from Mr. Robot. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not running on a whole bunch of sleep. Yeah, it wasn't. It left a lot to be desired, Adric. A lot to be desired for Shazam. Was not a big fan of it at all. At all. You know what movie I am looking forward to though, because from what I'm hearing good things about it. I can't remember the name of it. I'm gonna look it up now. The Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan movie. What's the name of that movie? Oh, Just Mercy is the name of that. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. I lost my. There I am. Yeah, not me, Cobra. I mean, I wanted much more from it. I would have much rather had the. Well, he was kind of like the new 52 Shazam, but I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know, Dory, about that. I got to look that up. Was the new Planet of the Apes a reboot or a continuation? I hope it wasn't a reboot. It depends on who's directing it. It depends on who's directing it. So, I don't know. I kind of hope it wasn't a. It's not a reboot though. Yeah, I hope so too, Jinhan. I hope Black Adam is totally different than Shazam, and I think it will be because I'm gonna be disappointed too if it comes off the same. I definitely agree with you. Hey, what's going on, Christopher? Oh, I'm glad you hopped on, Christopher. By the way, thank you because I think it was you that dropped that link for me on Instagram about the Mandalorian's helmet. So I did watch that video. Man, I think it's still on. I'd have to pull my phone up to look at it, and it's sitting on a charger. But Christopher, I believe it was Christopher on Instagram, there was a guy who did a really good video on the deal with taking off the Mandalorian's helmet. So what I'll do is I'll link that up in the community section so you guys can see it because it was a really good video on it. I think this guy's channel was like all Star Wars, I believe. So. That's right, Dash Star. If you can, Christopher, can you put that link in the comments? Because I'd have to pull it off my phone. But that was a really good video. I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking. We talked a little bit about this also, about the next Matrix movie with Michael B. Jordan, and now we know Keanu Reeves is going to be in it. Are you guys excited about it now that Keanu is going to be in it? Or you're still thinking, I don't know about doing another Matrix film? I'm just curious to know what you guys think about that. I don't know. I don't know, Dory. If because I wasn't a big fan of the Maze Runner movies either, so I don't know. And I feel like with the Planet of the Apes, because that trilogy was so good of the newer movies, it's a lot to live up to. I don't know. Don't know much about the director, but I do know I was not a huge fan of the Maze Runner series, so. I thought he was 100% confirmed, but I could be wrong about that, Jinhan. I don't know for sure, but I thought it was pretty much a done deal that he was going to be in there, and Keanu was going to be in there as well. But I could be wrong about that. Hey, what's going on, Matthew? Well, we talked about everything, man. Everything from movies to streaming shows, the whole 9 yards. I wouldn't mind another Matrix movie, Dory, if it's written well. But if it's not written well and we don't have good performances, then I say just leave it. That's what I say. But it looks like some folks are with you. Looks like Cornbread says no more Matrix movies. I forgot that guy's name that played Mantis in Aquaman. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Matthew. I know this is a busy season, man. A couple of weeks before the holidays, so. Yeah, me too, Cobra. I want to see what they do with it. I mean, the next Matrix could be pretty good, although it looks like the general consensus here is that most people are like, nah, I'll pass. But I think it could be pretty good. You know what I was looking for today? I was really hoping to find some information on the Thundercats movie. Boy, oh boy, I would love to see a live action movie of the Thundercats. I feel like I said that on here before, but man. Boy, if we could get a live action version of the Thundercats, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do with myself, man. Man, I would love to see something like that. That's who it was. As a matter of fact, isn't Jinhan? That's the same guy that's on. Yeah, that's who it is, and that's the same guy that's on. Well, he's not on there anymore, but on. Man, I can't think. What's his name? What's the name of the show on? My brain is just totally shut down, as you can see. Watchmen. Isn't that the same actor? No, that's not the same actor. That's not the same guy. But I think their names are similar. me see something here. Oh yeah, that is him. That is the same person that was on Watchmen. He was also in Us as well. It's a sad thing too, Cornbread. I hope somebody picks it up because I would love to see a Thundercats movie. Boy, that would make I would cover every single aspect of that because I was such a big fan of that show as a kid. So it looks like you're looking forward to the Matrix, Christopher. I would say my favorite trilogy. You guys probably already know this if you've been on the channel for a minute. Is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like hands down to me, that is the best trilogy to ever come out on film. Well, I'm glad if Vin Diesel was originally doing Thundercats that he's not, because I don't. I mean, I like him, but I don't know how good his acting is. Not for Thundercats, not in my opinion. Yeah, I know. Jin Han was saying it is the same guy. He's been in a couple of things. Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. I will tell you that Watchmen took a crazy turn last week. Now I am interested to see how they wrap this show up because last week in Watchmen was kind of like a setup for I don't even know what to say about it, but it seemed like the episode of last week's Watchmen we could get like or four or more episodes of Watchmen out of that, and I don't think that, of course, we're going to get 2 more episodes. And then, from what I understand, the season's over. I don't know about a season 2, so it'll be really interesting to see what they do with tonight's episode and the episode to come for Watchmen. I don't think they're going to do that, Jinhan, with Watchmen. Throw Keanu's character under the bus. I don't think they can afford to. If they're trying to reboot Watchmen, so to speak, especially with a new main character like Michael B. Jordan, if it ends up being him, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to throw Keanu under the bus, because if anybody's going to be able to make that transition happen where people will find it agreeable, Keanu's going to have to, basically, in my opinion, he's going to have to sell the next person in that franchise for people to really kind of grab hold to it and keep watching it, because he was such an important part of that whole franchise. You can't disrespect him if he's going out. If he's going out, he has to go out on top. That's what I think. And he's really got to help transition that new person in. Oh, wait, let me see. Hold on. Me too, Adric. I hope so. I mean, I have really high hopes for the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon. And I know, I'm pretty sure in saying that production wise, I think it's going to be really good, because I think that am I frozen? Okay, no. Um, Amazon sunk a lot of money into that project, man. A lot of money. So I think production wise, it's going to be good. I just hope the performances and the writing's good. So I'm really hopeful for that. As a matter of fact, I think that with the Amazon series, might have been somebody on here that told me that that the book to read from that or for that is the Cimmerillion. I think it's that age. I think it's pretty much that story. I actually have that on audiobook too, so. Yeah, that's true, Jinhan. That is true. We did get fooled with The Last Jedi. We really got fooled with The Last Jedi. That is very, very true. I hope we don't have a situation like that. I really, really do. I agree with you, Matthew. I think the writing has to be good. If the writing's bad, then it's just not gonna matter. So I hope the writing's good also. Yeah, you know what, Matthew? I gotta make sure that I finish that up too. Like I said, now the books I've been listening to on audio or on Audible have been all the Witcher stuff, really, amongst other stuff that has nothing to do with movies. But um, I do have the Cimmerillion on there, so I got to make sure that I really really listen to that, so I'm really caught up on in what's going on with the source material because I'm a big Tolkien fan. So now, Cornbread, is the Wheel of Time out yet? Got those audio books too, by the way. Because you're saying it's getting a season two. I didn't think the Wheel of Time was out yet. I think you're right, Jahan. I think that pretty much the the heavy hitters for Prime will be the boys in the Lord of the Rings series. In particular, the Lord of the Rings series, because I think it's going to have broader appeal than the boys. Even though a lot of people like the boys, I think some people for the boys is just going to be too much with all that goes on in it. But I think that Lord of the Rings is going to be probably a big hit for Amazon because it should have broader appeal. It depends on how graphic they get. And I hope they don't get super graphic. Like I've said this before, I hope that they don't try and turn the Lord of the Rings into a version of Game of Thrones because that's not even nearly the same vibe, the same scope, the same feel. Like that to me, if they tried to do that, that to me would be an assault on the source material. Like that would just be a violation, and that would make me upset as a fan. So I hope they don't try to make Lord of the Rings another version of Game of Thrones. I mean that material is certainly good enough to let it stand on its own. You know what, Christopher? We'll see about Wheel of Time. I know Cornbread has been talking about it too. I have the audiobooks, but the audiobooks are hard to get into. The guy who's reading it is not that good to me. Me too, Matthew. I really do. I really hope they do the books justice. They had. I mean, how can you not? Like, you cannot. Tolkien is such a prolific writer within that space, and a lot of people that have come behind him have taken their cues from him. You cannot disrespect that source material by trying to turn it into something that it is grossly not. I'm not saying that you can't have some liberties with it. I'm not saying that you can't exercise your own creativity with it. But if you try and turn that to something that it is completely not, Like that to me, that as a fan of Tolkien, that is an affront to me. So be creative, that's fine, but don't try and make it something that it's not. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I agree, Matthew. I mean, and the depth of detail in almost all of his works is crazy. Like it was super impressive that Jackson was able to bring the Lord of the Rings saga across like he did, and we know that he left out a lot of material, but the books are so good. There's so much detail in those stories. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like he is the father, I would say, of modern day fantasy. I would definitely agree with that. Like hands down to me, I would agree with that. Has anybody heard anything else about? I thought I saw a comment, but it wasn't that. Anybody heard anything else about the production of Mortal Kombat? I know that they're filming now, but do we have like all of the cast members? Is all of that settled for Mortal Kombat? I'll do that, Christopher. As a matter of fact, let me write that down. Let's see. Stormlight series. Brandon Sanderson. Oh, nice. Okay, Jinhan. Cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Mortal Kombat 2. But what I want to see with Mortal Kombat is really how they execute the story for Mortal Kombat. I'm sure the action is going to be sick, but I want to see how they execute the story for it. All right, guys, talk amongst yourselves for a second. I got to get some water, man. My throat is like super dry. I'll be right back. All right. All right. I'm back. I don't know if that Queen and Slim is a question for me, Cobra, but I still haven't seen it yet. My wife won't let me see it without her. She hasn't been able to go. But I've actually heard really good things about Queen and Slim, so I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I haven't seen it yet though. Speaking of Mortal Kombat 2, also, how many of you guys are planning on checking out? I think what is the last installment of the Ip Man movies, which I think comes out this month. That might come out on the 20th also. Wonder how many of you guys are planning on checking that out. We talked a little bit about it last week, so I'm excited to see that because Scott Adkins is in it. And again, I've never seen anything with he and Donnie Yen together in the same movie, so looking forward to that. Never heard of that, Dory. That's interesting. Yeah, I still haven't seen it, Cobra. Whatever it is, my my wife wants to see it, so we'll be checking it out. But I don't know when that's gonna be. Who's the writer for the Mortal Kombat movie? Let me look that up real quick. Oh, the writer's Greg Russo. What does it have under his belt? Okay. Yeah, the Ip Man movie should be pretty good, Christopher. I'm looking forward to that. I always like those movies. I think they're well acted and they're definitely well produced, and the fight scenes are always sick. They are always really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Is anybody still watching his Dark Materials? No, there were a couple of folks on that were really excited about it. I haven't. I kind of fell off. I haven't been following it, but I'm wondering if it's gotten any better. It was a little bit of a slump to me, so I wonder if it's gotten any better. I actually like the original Mortal Kombat too, Matthew. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of movies comparatively speaking, but I thought the original Mortal Kombat was fun. All right, Cobra. And actually, guys, I'm going to follow Cobra's lead, too. I've got to get some work done tomorrow as well. You know, sorry, not like all you millionaires out there that can wake up when you want. Wouldn't that be nice? But I got to get some work done, too. Again, apologies, you guys, for all of the, I don't know how many of you guys were on when I was trying to stream before. It was a whole bunch of issues with Streamlabs OBS. I'm going to try and fool around with it tonight. So again, if you see me streaming live later on tonight, if I can get through the other stuff I have to do, that's just me fooling around, making sure everything is good to go for next week. And a couple of videos will be coming out this week as well. Sorry also if you guys have noticed that there hasn't been as much like weekly activity on the channel as well, because I'm really kind of trying to start to figure out how to manage my time a little bit better, because as you guys know, I'm still recently kind of a newlywed, right? And my wife has got to get her time. So I'm trying to figure that out too. But all right, you guys, I will see you on the next video, but there will be a couple of things coming out this week. Also, if you've not asked a question, or if you've not given me a question for Jason Tobin, make sure that you jump over to the community tab and ask him a question. Jason Tobin plays Young June on Warrior, and I will be interviewing him next Friday. Couldn't do it this Friday because there was a little hiccup in his scheduling, and he was spending some time with his daughter. So but all right, guys, so I am going to catch you guys later. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. I definitely appreciate it. And it was fun. And again, if you see me messing around with it, with the stream, it's not me actually live. I'm just trying to make sure everything is working. All right, guys. I'll see you. Peace.